Let's go back to the Super Bowl in 2002 when a very young Tom Brady and the Patriots upset the Rams 20-17 thanks to Adam Vinatieri's game-winning field goal. That was the first of 5 Super Bowl wins for Brady and Belichick together. We're joined once again by Mike Martz, who coached the Rams in that game. So, Mike, looking back, could you see that Patriot team turning into a dynasty?
Well, the one thing that we knew when we first played them before the Super Bowl, I'd not seen them before, hadn't coached against them, was how detail-oriented and how ahead of everybody else they were when they coached and played the game. And they went on that win streak after that. So when we played them in the Super Bowl, we just felt like there wasn't going to be any stone unturned. I think that he has a standard that he holds everybody to. It's not so much that they had great players, because they had good players, but we had good players. Mm-hmm. And you just knew that he was going to think of everything, and that was proven out in that game. To say that you knew that they were going to go on this run, I don't think anybody could have predicted that.
No.
That he had a really great last drive, but the rest of the game was unremarkable.
Yeah. Well, so, give us your insight, the offensive mind that you have been, into Brady's evolution from sort of a game, can we say game manager that day against you guys? Yeah. He was good in the last drive.
He was very good. Yeah. And that was the first rattle out of the box as a young player, fresh in the league. I think you have to start where nobody ever talks about. And there's one constant thread throughout that organization that has been there for Brady, and that's Dante Scarnecchia, the offensive line coach. When you watch their offensive line and the time that he's had over the years to throw, with all the changes that they have, they are ahead of the curve. They're ahead of everybody. They adjust well. They frantically, they fight, bite, do whatever they have to do to keep him free back there. And I think because of how good a job he's done with it, I think you have to give him credit for that.
And by the way, he wasn't there for the AFC Championship game? That was the year, and they couldn't block. They
brought him right back. Yeah. And he's just simply the best. And I think he doesn't get any credit for it, and which is the job of offensive line coaches, linemen.
Yeah, exactly.
But absolutely, he is a major, major reason why Tom's been able to do what he has done. But I think Tom is constantly morphing and getting better, and is never satisfied with who he is as a player. And the great ones are all like that. They always feel they could have played better. You watch his interviews over the year, even when he's had a great game, a perfect game, so to speak, statistically, he says, well, yeah, I did it, but I felt like I should have done this. I know I can do better than that. And that's been his theme throughout his life. And that, and the fact that Bill has held the rest of that team, Bill Belichick's held that team to a level and forced everybody, put their face to the fire, has kept them up there, no matter who's on that squad. There's a theme that they buy into that they don't talk about, that whoever goes into that team and leaves, there's a standard. They have to up their game, so to speak, if they're going to play there.
Well, going in, there's a level of expectations.
Yes.
When you win 15 division titles in 17 years, you go to this many Super Bowls, the level of expectations, as you mentioned, that he holds everyone to. Not just Tom Brady. Right. Whether you play special teams, whether you practice squad, you're held to that standard.
Yes.
And because you're held to that standard, there is no, I'm a backup. No. Because he's saying you're one play away from being the starter. So if I don't hold you to this level while you're not starting, what should I expect from you once you get into the game?
Right, and what's really cool about that is he approached the game as if they'd won 5 Super Bowls that first year.
Right.
So, he hasn't changed who he is or how he does things.
Right.
That level of excellence was there in the get-go. And I think because his success has never affected that. They don't take anything for granted. And that's a hard thing to do.
Yes.
For that period of time, think about all the games that they've won in championships. And at some point, you got to go, oh, man, this, that's never happened. He's constantly had their face to the fire, and that's why they're who they are.
Yet, despite his obvious greatness, he has been busted once for cheating and been accused many times of cheating, and now your ex-tackle Orlando Pace has brought it up again this week that he believes, as do many in your organization from the first Super Bowl, that you got spied on in your walkthrough. What do you think about that? Do you believe that?
I don't know if they did or not. I've been told that they filmed all of our practices and that those tapes were, there's all those things that are out there. If it helped them, I didn't see it in the game necessarily. Because, I don't know what the stats were. We had like 450 yards.
Right.
and they had like 150 yards. I mean, they didn't spy on the right thing then.
Right.
We lost that game because we turned the ball over 3 times, not because somebody spied on us. So if they did spy on us, it didn't affect us.
Right.
You know, so I don't really care about that. I really don't.
But you didn't approach the game that differently than you approached every game. So you weren't changing a lot of things in practice, right?
No, exactly. So what we do when we get into the game is you watch and see how they're going to approach it, and then you start to go to work and make your changes. And that's what we did in that game.
Wow, and you were told they filmed every practice?
Yeah, but that that stuff is all out there.
Okay.
You hear that stuff from everybody, and I've heard some really more bizarre stuff. But I think that's just the nature of the beast anymore. You know, whether they did that or not, I don't really care. It doesn't make any difference to me. We had our chance to win that game, had we not turned the ball over, and we didn't do it.
How different would it have been had you won that game and not them? Is Tom Brady, because he only threw for 145 yards in that game and 1 touchdown. It was the only touchdown he threw for in the entire playoff run. So how different do you think his career would have been had they not won that game?
Well, he's going to be Tom Brady, period.
Right.
I mean, that's going to happen. I mean, it doesn't change who he is. Had they not won the game, I think you're just looking at one less Super Bowl win.
Okay.
They're going to continue to do what they do. That's just who they are.
And what do you see in his evolution that he now does best?
That's really interesting. I watched him over the last 2-3 years, and what I see him when he throws the ball, the anticipation that he has and where he can put the ball is mind-blowing. Kurt had some great qualities like that. But this guy is on a level I've never seen before. And just in the last 3, I think he's playing his best football, to be honest with you. I really do. I think earlier he wouldn't make those throws, and I'm not sure he could, some of those unique throws that he makes now, under duress even. Earlier in his career, midway through to earlier, he didn't have the pressure on him like he's getting now.
Right.
He really didn't. Now he's making these throws and getting waylaid. Earlier, they did a better job of protecting him probably. And he's not as mobile maybe as he was at one time. But I tell you right now, I think he's at his best. I really do.
Great stuff, Mike. Thanks so much for joining us. Did the Patriots go too far with their Super Bowl ring? We'll discuss that next.